Another major snowstorm might impact the northern Midwest and the Northeast by next week. If we were to continue to move forward with what the latest depiction of the European model is stating, we're going to see that the temperatures will be much colder than average for much of the northern Midwest, and that will lead to a higher level of instability in the Midwest, and we're going to see a low pressure system come off the Pacific Northwest coast that will move eastward along with these strong jet stream winds, and will encounter just enough of an unstable environment for some snow showers to develop just to the north of this low pressure system, where we do see that by the Sunday time frame, we do see some scattered snow showers throughout South Dakota as well as North Dakota. But continuing to move forward with the forecast, the snow will eventually move into Wisconsin and Michigan by right around the Monday morning time frame, so you want to keep that in mind for your morning commute in those areas in the northern Midwest. And moving forward, we do see that there's a relatively strong ridge just to the southeast of this low pressure system that's going to bring a stronger southerly flow, but there's still just enough of a northwesterly flow to keep that cold air to throughout much of the northeast. So we will see some snow showers in the northeast. I won't expect this storm to be necessarily anything significant because there isn't a high amount of instability coming from this low pressure system. But the next snowstorm could be a different story, right? Where we're going to see this low pressure system right behind this initial low pressure system rapidly intensify. Continuing to move forward with the forecast, we do see that this low pressure system will linger over the same area for a little bit. The jet stream winds will be relatively slow, so will the steering currents, but that will quickly change once we enter late next week into the Friday time frame, where we of course see the low pressure system rapidly intensify. This as a result of the much cooler than average conditions we're seeing behind this low pressure system and this big ridge just to the east of it, bringing a stronger southerly flow to a point where we're seeing just enough instability for this storm to rapidly intensify and have a classic mid-latitude cyclone look, where we're seeing heavy snow just to the northwest of this low pressure system, as well as dry air intruding on the southwestern portion. So this will be quite a significant snowstorm for millions of Americans in the northern Midwest, and we could see that snow move into the northeast as well. It's still uncertain how much cold air will be located in the northeast as we approach next weekend. It really all depends on how strong northwesterly winds will be from this low pressure system moving by, because the stronger northwesterly winds, the more Arctic air will move into the northeast. So we're going to need to pay close attention to how powerful this initial low pressure system will be to really determine the impacts the northeast will experience, whether it comes to rainfall or snowfall. So continuing to move forward, we of course see the snow eventually does move into the interior northeast by the Sunday time frame, and we see the snow extend into Boston, Connecticut. A lot of the same areas that got impacted hard by this previous snowstorm will get impacted again throughout much of the interior northeast. So you want to pay very close attention to that. And the low pressure system is quite powerful, down to 990 millibar range, which is certainly very, very powerful and powerful enough to dump a heavy amount of snowfall. Now, temperatures should fall below average right after this mid-latitude cyclone, so you want to pay close attention to that throughout the northern northeast. But as of right now, it seems like both of the computer models are in pretty good agreement with this low pressure system, considering the fact that we're 5 to 7 days out from this snowstorm actually occurring. So this does raise certainty that we're going to at least see somewhat of a general, general trajectory will be very accurate, but there's still 5 to 7 days. I want to point that out because a lot could change till now until next weekend. So just pay close attention to that and be aware of the forecast. But I will say it's likely at this point, at least somewhere in the northern United States, you will experience a major snowstorm, as it seems like both of the computer models are persisting on that idea. So make sure to pay close attention to that throughout the northern Midwest as well as the interior northeast. And I wouldn't rule out the possibility that the forecast changes to a point where we could see snow a little bit further southward in the northeast, depending on how strong northwesterly winds will be. I'll keep you guys updated over the next several days regarding this forecast. But now let me show you guys the GFS models scenario. As for GFS model's forecast, it's very similar to what the European model is stating. We see that the GFS model agrees that there's going to be a formidable low pressure system developing somewhere in the northern Midwest, bringing isolated snow showers for the early week. The GFS model expects maybe a little bit more snowfall, but it's very similar for the most part. So you should expect an area of 1-3 inches for most part from this first Clipper system moving through. However, with this next snowstorm, it's also very similar. We see snow showers linger over the same area for several days thanks to weak steering currents, and then we see the low pressure system develop in a very similar fashion, to what the European model is stating. So that certainly does raise certainty for forecasts that's around 5 to 6 days out and continuing to move forward. We do see that much of the same areas experience heavy snowfall, but there are some key differences. The GFS model thinks that the rain snow line will be a lot further northward. It doesn't expect that the northwesterly winds in the northeast will be as strong, so as a result, we're going to see more warm air intrude the areas further northward for many areas and mostly experience a rain event in this scenario, but we can't rule out that possibility that the forecast could change because, of course, we're still almost a week out from this event, but you need to pay very close attention because throughout the northern Midwest, you could experience over a foot of snow from this snowstorm. So you want to pay close attention to this as we approach next weekend because it's becoming increasingly likely we will at least see a powerful storm system move through by next week. So I'll keep you guys updated throughout the next several days. The forecast is becoming increasingly likely that a major snowstorm will occur, but it's still a little bit uncertain regarding the trajectory. But I'll keep you guys updated regarding where exactly that rain snow line will be. So make sure to stay tuned for more forecasts. So here's what the European model is forecasting when it comes to snowfall over the next week. We do see that a large area of the northern Midwest would experience over a foot of snow and potentially over 2 feet of snow in more localized areas, which would be a very active week when it comes to winter weather. And I will say that it is likely at this point, at least somewhere in the northern Midwest, you will experience a significant snowstorm, so you need to be on high alert at this time. And moving eastward, we do see a large area of 6 to 12 inches throughout Wisconsin, Michigan, and even Chicago. The European model does expect Chicago to get involved with some snowfall, so you want to pay close attention to that possibility. And we do see a lot more heavy snowfall for much of New England, where even the Boston metropolitan area experiences close to, if not over, a foot of snow. So this would certainly be a significant snow event for millions of Americans. We're just going to need to wait and see where that rain snow line will be, which will pretty much be determined by how strong the bridge will be in the southeast. But I'll keep you guys updated regarding any major variations in the forecast. So this is what the GFS model is forecasting when it comes to snowfall accumulation. Very similar, bringing snowfall to a lot of the same areas, but the GFS model wants to bring the heavier snowfall a couple miles further northward than the European model, but it still expects the storm to develop in a very similar fashion, to have a very similar look. So I'll say that certainty is higher for a storm system that's beyond the 5-day marks, but there's still uncertainty. Make sure to keep that in mind, but this would certainly be close to record breaking for areas in Minnesota if this storm were to come for fruition, where you could experience close to 2 feet of snow over the next week, which would be very powerful, and definitely something you want to be stay on high alert with. And then for New England, we do see that you could experience over a foot of snow as well, especially in the interior portion. So pretty much throughout the northern Midwest and northern Northeast, you need to be on high alert for the possibility of heavy snowfall. So here's my forecast when it comes to this next major winter storm that's expected to happen by next weekend. If you're in the pink, you're most likely going to experience a major snowstorm out of this. And in the blue, it is a little bit more uncertain, where the rain, it really all depends on how strong the ridge will be, how strong the southerly winds will be, because that will determine where that rain snow line will end up, which will be a key